Daily Words of God. When following God, people seldom pay attention to His will, and they rarely take heed of His thoughts and His attitude toward humans. People do not understand God's thoughts, so when asked questions about His intentions and disposition, you get confused. You fall into deep uncertainty, and then you either guess or gamble. What sort of mindset is this? It proves a fact that most people who believe in God regard Him as a bunch of empty air and as something which seems to exist one minute and not the next. Why do I put it like that? Because whenever you encounter a problem, you do not know God's will. Why do you not know His will? Not just now, but from start to finish. You do not know God's attitude toward this problem. You cannot fathom it and do not know what God's attitude is. But have you given it much thought? Have you sought to know it? Have you fellowshipped about it? No. This confirms a fact. The God of your belief has no connection to the God of reality. In your belief in God, you ponder only your own intentions and those of your leaders. You merely give thought to the superficial and doctrinal meaning of God's words, without truly trying to know or seek God's will at all. Is this not the case? The essence of this matter is quite terrible. After so many years, I have seen many people who believe in God. What has their belief transformed God into in their minds? Some people believe in God as if He were just a bunch of empty air. These people have no answer to questions of God's existence, because they can neither feel nor sense either His presence or His absence, let alone see it clearly or understand it. Subconsciously, these people think that God does not exist. Others believe in God as if He were a man. These people think that He is unable to do all of the things that they too are unable to do, and that He should think however they think. Their definition of God is an invisible and untouchable person. There is also a group of people who believe in God as if He were a puppet. These people believe that God has no emotions. They think God is a clay statue, and that when faced with an issue, God has no attitude, viewpoint, or ideas. They believe He is at humankind's mercy. People simply believe however they want to believe. If they make Him great, then He is great. If they make Him small, then He is small. When people sin and need God's mercy, tolerance, and love, they assume God should extend His mercy. These people invent a God in their own minds, and then make this God fulfill their demands and satisfy all of their desires. No matter when or where, and no matter what such people do, they will adopt this fancy in their treatment of God and in their faith. There are even those who, having aggravated God's disposition, still believe He can save them, because they assume that God's love is boundless and His disposition is righteous, and that no matter how much a person offends God, He will not remember any of it. They think that since human faults, human trespasses, and human disobedience are momentary expressions of a person's disposition. God will give people chances and be tolerant and patient with them. They believe that God will still love them as before. Thus, they maintain high hopes for attaining salvation. In fact, no matter how people believe in God, as long as they are not pursuing the truth, He will hold a negative attitude toward them. This is because, over the course of your faith in God, though you have taken the book of God's words and seen it as a treasure, and study and read it every day, you set the real God aside. You regard Him as mere empty air, or as just a person, and some of you regard Him as no more than a puppet. Why do I put it this way? I do so because the way I see it, whether you are faced with a problem or encounter some circumstance, those things that exist in your subconscious, those things that you give rise to internally, have never had any connection with God's words or with pursuing the truth. You only know what you yourself are thinking, what your own viewpoint is, and then you force your own ideas and opinions onto God. In your mind, they become God's viewpoints, and you make of these viewpoints standards that you unwaveringly uphold. Over time, proceeding like this takes you farther and farther away from God.